When Ryan's when it's time to begin, it's on the Rewind Around with John Pollock and Wai Ting. The 18 that makes sense of these things we see in the ring every week on TV. It's Rewind Around for Monday night. Download it Tuesday morning from the Post Wrestling site. It's Rewind Around for Monday night on USA Now on the John and Wai Take the mic.
Yes, here we are, Monday night. We just did like 45 minutes of news, and in my head, I'm just like, oh man, we got to get going. And it's like, it's 9:53 p.m. right now. It blows my mind. I'm not used to these earlier start times, Way.
Yeah. I don't know if it's a good thing or not, because like it is a struggle sometimes to try to watch these throughout the day from 2:00 onwards. But I'm certainly grateful now that we're here to hopefully be done a little bit earlier today.
Yeah, I gotta chop these up. The afternoons are tougher to watch. It's not ideal wrestling watching time for me, but here we are.
But the option is nice.
It is nice. Yes, it does give us some leeway. The Knicks are up 64-57 at halftime. They have the chance to go up 3-0 on the Spurs tonight.
Incredible. And Danhausen is there, you said.
Danhausen and Donald Trump.
Okay. Well, who's he cheering for? Donald Trump.
I don't know.
Is he allowed to place bets? With that,
maybe on Kalshi. Yeah.
Is that an app?
It's a prediction market.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Who's your prediction? Do you think the Knicks are going to win this one?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think they're going to sweep. I think Danhausen's going to take them all the way.
Okay. Well, he's going to milk some publicity out of this, so good for him. Folks, if you would like to jump onto the Post Wrestling Cafe, we just did an expansive news pack talking about the shareholder lawsuit trial that wasn't, unfortunately. It was unfortunately a trial that just was not meant to be in the state of Delaware. We also went through the Clearwater Police Department's final report on the death of Terry Bollea with details from that. A lawsuit that is attempting to stop this Sunday's UFC White House card. Will they be successful? My guess is no, but we'll explain from all angles. Yo wins the Best of the Super Juniors tournament. Dominion goes down Sunday. WWE, once again, moving back Money in the Bank to October now. Got to wait till October for this. Of this year, though. And Steve Maclin and Mila Grace have exited TNA. Where do they end? Where do they land next? And will we ever get a press release stating that TNA has come to terms on the release of TNA? All these questions and more answered at postwrestlingcafe.com on the XL version of Rewind Raw.
Thank you, everybody who joined us for Open House Week. We had a lot of great response to it, so thank you, everybody who's there. Hopefully, you guys have stuck around and are enjoying all of the bonuses on the menu for the rest of the month of May. And these would, of course, include our WWE WrestleMania 33. June. Apologies. My brain is still stuck in May. That would include, of course, our UFC Freedom 250 review with John and Neil Flanagan.
And probably Jack.
Probably
Jack.
Okay.
I think it's going to be the three of us. That'll be next Monday. We're going to put that show out on the Cafe. So the show, it's a Sunday night card from the UFC. We'll have that show out Monday afternoon.
And then, of course, we also have Ask Away coming out this Thursday with John and myself, answering all of our patrons' questions. So if you happen to have
we have a lot, by the way. We already have a lot.
Yeah, get those questions in right now. If you're a Patreon patron, go to forum.postwrestling.com, link your account to your Patreon account, and then just leave the question in the feedback thread, and we will probably do our best to get to everything this Thursday.
All right. Way was a busy man over the weekend. Rewind to SmackDown Friday night, just in time for the settlement to be in the stages of finality. But thankfully, we had Way there to break everything down with Neil Flanagan and Brandon Thurston. And
thankfully, we were able to make the hot tag to Brandon Thurston to bail me and Neil out for this very, very important topic, and gave me a chance to even use his stepbrother's photo in the graphic.
Do you think that this photo becoming public, which I will take credit for trying to spread as much as I could on Friday, do you think that played any factor in get the checkbook out. Let's end this fucking thing.
It
What
honestly,
other photos were we not privy to?
Yeah, well, it honestly makes me wonder what else that is being texted between Ari
What did
and
Ari
Vince.
respond to with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What emojis, what photoshopped memes. Imagine in the age of AI, what would have been spread between these two in their private chats.
Yeah. I'm glad you and I don't do this kind of thing.
We're not funny at all via text. I guess we can be, but only to you and I.
You're pretty funny.
But we're very minimal. Like the exchanges don't go more than like 2-3, messages. I'm certainly not texting, "I'm so grateful to have you in my life," or anything
love
like
me?
that. I've not texted that yet.
No. It's fine. It's fine. On to Raw. The Accor Arena in Paris, France. Super hot crowd, to no one's surprise. We did not have a WrestleTix number, but this looked packed. And this is, for MMA, they can get around 15,000 in this arena. And I don't know what the stage might have killed off, but I'm sure there were every bit of 13,000 plus in this arena. Sounded like 50,000. And we had 3 sections in the colors of the French flag, which was just a super cool visual.
I believe that I've seen this the last time they did something in France, but
Okay.
yeah, it's pretty spectacular.
Yeah. So just a super reaction and it persisted for the 2.5 hours.
Yeah, I really have to say, maybe other than that crowd for that AAA show with the mass versus mass match, like this might be, I think, the best crowd of the year in WWE, I suppose, if you want to qualify.
Yeah, there was this, and it was evident right from the get-go. We had during the arrivals, we did see Sol Ruca arriving, and in the background, Austin Theory chatting with Maxine. That was our progression of that story this week. They talked.
It is long brewing. Romances take quite a while to build up, of course, especially for somebody who is married. So maybe not a romance. Yeah.
Yes.
She's married to the NXT guy, right?
Are they married, engaged?
Or engaged, whatever. Yeah.
Well, maybe this will be Cam Hendrix's call-up program. Oba Femi starts the show. Holy Christ. He comes out. This place is just deafening. Absolutely deafening for this man. They won't even let him speak. The whole place is just chanting for him. And he finally gets his promo out stating that him and Paul Heyman both believe in spoilers. And his spoiler is winning King of the Ring and becoming champion. But he still needs to collect the head of Brock Lesnar, who has disappeared since their last match. And I don't see the big bad beast. All I see is a big bad bitch. And he's going to settle the score. So Dirty Dom interrupts and he gets tons of heat. He refers to Oba as a rookie while I'm a 20-year veteran. And this leads to a distraction as JD appears from behind, swats Oba with the chair. It has no effect, and he punches the chair into JD, but the distracted Oba gets caught with a 619, and he gets caught off the top, but JD rescues Dominic, who is pulled to safety. Oba says, "You messed up. Ray is your father, but next week I'll introduce you to your daddy." So next week it is Oba Femi against Dominic Mysterio, a match that I have way too much interest in than I should, but I am intrigued. And what better after hearing this crowd, what better place than Baltimore for this?
Baltimore
big show
deserves it. Forget New
Goodman
Orleans.
country.
That is correct. I wonder if he'll be going to the show.
Probably not.
Excellent segment that, gave us maybe our first glimpse of just how amazing this crowd is in Paris. Femi, on top of that, was great here, I felt. He continues to show that he's a lot more than just a big guy. He's somebody who can very much maintain his composure and confidence on a big stage in front of an amazing crowd on live TV. And I thought he was able to even, in just seeing him try to settle down this crowd for the massive ovation that they were giving him, I thought that made him look great. I thought the promo he cut did a very effective job in stating his intent to win the King of the Ring while also keeping in focus his feud with Brock Lesnar. And importantly, I thought he managed to underscore the legitimacy of Brock's win by reminding all of us that Brock did cheat by attacking before the bell. And it continues to, again, make Femi look like the hero despite the loss by claiming that Brock is ducking him ever since, he got even with their win. So he's telling both stories, both wanting to win the King of the Ring while also keeping the Brock Lesnar feud fresh in your minds. In the segment like this.
Yeah, they don't need to do it immediately, but I think you do need the next step of this to be Brock actively, like it was hinted at here, but I think you need to make it clear that Brock is refusing to give him the rematch. Like that has to be Oba's goal now, is to goad this guy into the deciding match. And he kind of got that with the line at the end about "you're done, bitch." And this promo suggested that, but I think you need to make that clear. And that's what Oba is fighting for, is this match with Brock. And
So,
however you get
so
there.
wait, Brock saying 1+1, you're done.
That
was
like, you're done. Like, I'm done with you. That's how
Why
I took
would
that.
he say 1+1?
I don't know.
He should have just dropped that.
Maybe he had a t-shirt idea. That
Maybe
might be his
math-
shirt he comes back with wearing.
1+1.
1+1.
Maybe
You're done, bitch.
Addition works differently in Saskatchewan or Manitoba, wherever he's at.
So a great segment to start things off, the star of it being the crowd. Jackie Redmond is back with Seth Rollins, and he is going to win the King of the Ring, he states, then regain the title he never lost, and has a date down the line with Roman Reigns that they are continuing to hint toward. There's an OTC chant and says that the belt does not belong to Reigns. I made that title.
It's a big setup for Rollins versus Reigns, which, I mean, on the one hand here works as a good misdirect to, lead you into thinking Rollins would be likely to advance. But secondly, I mean, certainly lays the foundation for whenever they are set to do this match again, which will probably be before the end of the year. If not sooner, like maybe even closer to the end of the year.
Do you think there's no chance of this ending up being at SummerSlam?
Well, he lost.
He
So
lost.
How does he re-enter the title match?
I just don't look at anyone that's in this tournament that's remaining that I see headlining SummerSlam with Roman Reigns, including Obafemi.
tough.
Like, I don't see Obafemi challenging Reigns at SummerSlam.
Yeah. On the other side of the bracket, we've got who won tonight? Javon and somebody either between Balor, Jay, LA Knight, or Royce Keys. So of those four, like I feel LA Knight could be an option just because he's
Maybe
got a
LA
long-standing
Knight.
story. But other than that,
Could
you're
you
right.
see Royce Keys like
No.
in that big of a role thus far? So
Not
it's like
necessarily. The options are Femi and
LA Knight.
LA Knight, in my opinion. Yeah, because it's not Jay.
No, it's not going to be Jay.
not Balor.
It's not going to be Balor.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be Dominic.
So what you think somehow Seth finds his way in?
I'm just looking at the options here. Like I thought Seth was going to advance here. I didn't know if he was necessarily going to win this, but I'm just looking at that match is clearly coming, and whether it's SummerSlam or another date.
Well, of the options,
Yeah.
Femi is the best one, right? If you want a big headlining match, Femi versus Reigns for the championship. But you also have Brock as a more likely story actually for Femi. So I think it's LA Knight.
I think it's going to be Dominic and Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. Clearly,
Could be. Yeah.
Liv Morgan, Alexa Bliss, Chelsea Green, and Becky Lynch in the Queen of the Ring quarterfinal. We have a big banner and a giant singing of happy birthday for Liv Morgan, who turned 32 on Monday. And she clearly has not had a whole lot of matches since WrestleMania, because I think this is the first time I've heard trouble in forever.
True. Right.
She just always comes out with the Judgment Day, and and if she wrestles, it's in like some tag scenario. So I just never hear this song, and I didn't miss it when I heard it today. Green comes off the top with a high cross to the floor onto Liv and Alexa, and then Becky just smashes her into the post. Green strikes up a quick alliance with Bliss, then turns on her. So sunset bomb by Liv onto Chelsea, and then Alexa breaks up the cover with a twisted Bliss, and Bliss blocks Oblivion, and we go through this sequence where the Sister Abigail is attempted, Becky saves, then a manhandle slam is hit to Alexa, Green picks up Becky with the unprettier, and then Morgan comes in and covers Chelsea with a bridging jackknife cover in 9 minutes and 23 seconds. Green takes the cover, Liv advances, and she will face the winner of Sol Ruca, Charlotte Flair, Jade Cargill, and Lyra Valkyria. That happens Friday on SmackDown. And on the other side of the bracket is the Io Raquel match. So they are at least teasing now that Liv and Raquel could end up in the finals together.
Yeah, which would again justify why Liv Morgan is in this tournament. I mean,
She wants it all.
She wants it all, yeah, ahead of her Judgment Day sisters. So I thought like these four did a great job here. Of all the first round matches, this was the highest in terms of star power, and I think they saved it for probably the best crowd on the calendar. Action was strong here, very quick, coordinated piece of pace of action, and all of it I thought was again lifted by this excellent crowd. Chelsea to me felt like the biggest babyface in the match, including in comparing her to Alexa Bliss. But I thought Bliss also came across like more special than usual. You know, she employed some very nice counters to the heels finishers, got a great reaction for the sister Abigail, and I thought the finish here with Liv doing that like jackknife out of nowhere was actually very well done as well.
There was a video package on Ray and Penta in advance of their IC title match, even including AAA footage of young Rey Mysterio. Chad Gable
they're trying to sell this as history, and I suppose like this is definitely the biggest match.
Huge rivalry,
but they're just saying like it's the first time. Cole did specify later, first time in WWE.
Yes,
these two have wrestled in Lucha Underground, NEW.
Yeah, I'm sure Cole.
You all remember that,
pulling up his old tapes.
Yeah.
Chad Gable, the first we see of Chad Gable, he walks up to Penta backstage. I'm sorry, but Chad Gable is in his singlet this whole time backstage. Like, why? Why is he in his singlet? Why is he ready to go here?
You never know when you might need to make a run in. Clearly,
I mean, he was in a suit on Friday. What changed? What did he realize? Oh, you know what? This Adam Pearce, he books on the fly. Aldis likes to plan stuff out.
Maybe he worked main event. If that does
I don't
exist
know.
anymore,
it does exist. I don't know if they tape main event before this or not. So he meets Penta. He says he went crazy and insulted the culture of Mexico, and it all started because I lost in your debut match in WWE, and I took the loss like a coward, and I apologize. Penta respects that, but he knows who he needs to go talk to when it comes to forgiveness over Lucha. You have to go talk to the Lucha Don himself.
The Lucha Don. Okay, not the Lucha Don. Lucha Don. Yeah.
yes, the Lucha Don.
Yeah.
So, yes, he is on his repentance tour of the Luchadors in WWE.
So these particular segments, like, you know, we saw with Phoenix, and again, that not to say it's a high bar to cross for somebody like Ray Phoenix, who really doesn't get any sort of airtime anymore. But like, you know, for Penta, I think it's giving all of these luchadors a chance to like speak in a manner that is very different from the usual types of promos that they have to cut in the back, which are not very substantive at all. This allowed them to like not just accept the apology, but to talk about like what Lucha Libre means to them. And I think like in almost every case that we saw both on Friday and also today, it made them sound great. It made the luchadors sound like they were actual people of depth rather than just, you know, these sort of like voiceless figures. And I thought Penta here sounded very good here. You know, you can hear it in his in-arena promos, but in these backstage segments where he gets to talk like a normal person, he sounds very fluent, sounds very natural. So, you know, you just hope that they continue giving them like good material to say in these sort of backstage segments rather than just like catchphrases and, you know, one-liners, you know.
I wish that Conan was just a figure here. Could you imagine Gable going up and apologizing to Conan? It's like, listen, white boy, that's some straight up racist shit you did, but you got really over. Boom.
That's the ultimate apology that he needs to offer.
Or you're that shorty kid, right? You're the short guy.
He's got to just like have a bag of like, you know, Iranian tobacco ready for that apology.
They announced Sunday night's main event. That's Saturday, scratched out for Sunday, happening September the 6th in Atlanta. Rollins hangs out with Montez Ford, and Ford wishes Rollins good luck tonight. The Usos come in with Jacob Fatu, and Jay warns Rollins about speaking about the family, and that he is going to win King of the Ring. Rollins points out that Jay's in the tournament, but Jimmy's on the sidelines. And he said, I was never speaking about anyone in your family. I was only talking about Roman. And I just am disappointed in you guys. I thought you were better than running errands for Roman Reigns. So Jay calls on Jacob Fatu to get him. And Jacob Fatu, who has just been, you know, this is a long-term story, but there's going to be some growing pains here. He just has to walk up to Seth, and then he just turns around and walks away, sad at his state of life.
Well, he's not going to take orders from Jay, right? You know, he's not going to do Jay's bidding. He might be a part of the group, but he's not Jay's bitch. So I felt that's what they were trying to.
It's gonna be a long 6 months for this guy. That's all I'm saying.
Well, probably needs to be. He's got to build up to some big programs with all these guys, right?
Bit of a new hairstyle here.
This is his. You know,
like he went and got a perm or something.
This is his. I'm sad I lost and I have to join my cousin's group. You know, background player haircut. I thought it was a decent segment here that revealed a little bit more about like the Jacob dynamic in this group, and even just like in sulking in the background, he still stole the scene. The moment this crowd saw a glimpse of him creeping through behind the Usos, they were chanting Fatu, Fatu, Fatu. So they're still really hot, and I think, you know, it's a strong move to just keep them rebellious within the group, because it maintains that sort of like appeal, rather than just having him be, you know, again, like fourth in line, you know, in the group. They're also very much leading us towards a possible Usos versus Ford and Rollins match. So Dawkins, they were about to give us an update before announcing it, but I feel like he'll be on the shelf for a while because I think Rollins and Ford are probably going after the tag team division.
And right after this, Conan DM'd Jacob Fatu and asked, "Have you heard my podcast?" Lyra's seen warming up with Bailey, and Bailey is all excited for her title match. She believes in Lyra. So Sol Ruca defends the IC title against Lyra Valkyria. There's a springboard by Ruca. Thankfully, she has maybe shelved the buckshot flip.
We'll see. I'm sure she's practicing it. Maybe, you know, we'll re-debut it at some point. I mean, hopefully the kinks have been worked out in Sol Ruca's main roster run at this point.
Well, she went for the springboard. Lyra catches her, and then they kind of had to struggle their way to the other side of the ring for her to get dumped over the top to the floor. Ruca got hit with a guillotine leg drop as Sol is draped on the top, and then it's Ruca who blocks a tornado DDT using a handstand. Lyra does the same to escape the X Factor. Nightwing is stopped, Soul Snatcher is stopped mid-move, and then it's Lyra going for a spinning heel kick, trapping her leg, which gets caught in the rope, and with her leg caught, she is left for the Soul Snatcher in 10 minutes, 6 seconds, and I will say this was the cleanest Soul Snatcher we have had to date on the main roster for Soul. So good for her.
Since her official call-up. Yeah.
Her official call-up, yes.
I bet you the Soul Snatcher must have felt so good for her to hit, because I think unlike the Becky one at Clash, I felt like that one was made very foolproof, you know, and you don't blame them for it. They just kind of needed that one, especially for a title change. They needed to just get one under her belt. This one felt a lot higher in difficulty with like a higher margin of error, with like Lyra doing a great job, by the way, of getting her foot caught and then having to release it in time in order to take it in just perfect timing. And it was perfect, you know, and hopefully, again, it means that whatever was bugging her from hitting those Soul Snatchers cleanly, hopefully that's in the past. I thought she and Lyra were just like great together in ring. They were able to work a really fast, cardio heavy style, requiring a lot of like precise timing and positioning. And I thought Soul overall looked really comfortable, you know, and was able to show off a lot of her unique offense. And I think, again, Lyra was fantastic. I think she, in fact, is quite underrated even as an in-ring performer. But, you know, both of them I thought were good matches for each other. And it's the type of match that I think like will make Ruca feel more justified as an IC champ, despite the rocky path towards her actually winning the championship.
The Usos are seen with Jacob Fatu. They're upset. We called the play, but says, I didn't acknowledge you. I only acknowledged Roman. And he warns the Usos about LA Knight. And while he's talking about the family, you're doing nothing. And then we cut to LA Knight, who is on his way walking to the ring. So this Jacob Fatu, he also has, he's like psychic. He knows what the next segment was going to be.
He reads the rundowns.
He does. Yeah. He got a full rundown of the show. He knew what was to come. He knew this guy would be talking shit. So Knight comes out, and just like that, he He first gives Paris a pass for chanting OTC. It was like they booed this guy. They chanted OTC, and every time LA's like, it's okay, I understand.
It's a really tricky role for LA Knight, who is I'm reading him as the babyface in all of this. He's opposing like Adam Pearce. He's opposing like Jey Uso, who is, I think, certainly leaning a lot more heelish in all of this. But he's also having a fight against a crowd that loves Roman Reigns, which is pretty much going to be any crowd. So any babyface that has to oppose Roman, I mean, is really going to have a difficult challenge.
He says that he understands Paris chanting for Roman Reigns because Roman conned them. He said his empire is crumbling, and he knows someone is going to try and help Jey this Friday when they're in their 4-way qualifier. He calls out all the Bloodline members that he'll have to contend with if he wins the King of the Ring and has to face Roman Reigns. John, Jay, Jacob, Jingleheimer, Schmidt. That's my name too. I'm sorry. I laughed so loud when he did this. I thought this was so funny that you have John, Jay, and Jacob. And they
hilarious.
I thought this was a really clever line, and I don't care if people thought it was cringy. I laughed out loud.
I mean, it might be tough to recap, but I didn't think it was cringy at all in delivery. This is up there with Ufalafa in terms of
his delivery was almost as though he was stumbling on this in real time, like he was putting it together that this is what their 3 names are. Like he delivered it really well here.
Yeah, it was good.
And he proceeds to wish Jey Uso luck on Friday so that he doesn't need help from all his family members. And that prompts Jey to come out. Now, I could have expected Roman's name, that of course he's going to get the chance. Mm-hmm. I guess I should have envisioned, like, here it was such a hot crowd that they were going to go nuts. This was like Jey Uso at his apex of babyface popularity last year in terms of an entrance. Everyone went insane for him. Like this was the biggest reaction he's had in months. And
so they've clearly shifted the character. He doesn't wear the same, Usos, like main event Jey Uso colors anymore. Gone are the main event Jey Uso shades. He doesn't do the entrance from the ramp. Although like he still do it from anyway, I don't know. Tonight he was not doing it. He came out from the rest of from the entrance way wearing all black, wearing I guess pretty typical Ray-Bans, and the crowd though just thank you very much. The crowd, though, just like, I mean, they are here to react to the big entrances, right? And this was one of those. And they allowed Jey to play to it, which, again,
they did the encore.
Yeah, which is very fascinating to see because even though, again, Jey Uso is very much leaning towards being a heel in the group, more so than Jimmy, certainly, and they've taken away all of these things from him, they don't like shy away from reactions like this, and they continue to, like at least in this instance, let the crowd get it out of them, doing the encore. And I think that's healthy because in turning a guy heel, you don't want to rob him completely of his personality. You want to keep the things that make him feel special. So I'm not really against this, but again, it is something very difficult for an LA Knight to navigate in a segment like this.
As they do the encore, Knight's like, I'm not going to stand here. You expect me to stand here during this? I love this line.
And he got a ton of heat for it.
Yeah, at this point, they were booing LA Knight here because he was shutting this down. He respects that Jey is... Jey just cuts a quick promo. He just says, I'm still the main event, the arena shaker. And Knight cuts his music off. They boo him. He says he respects Jey being passionate about his family. I wish you good luck, and from the bottom of my heart, screw your family. And Jey is about to come back for revenge when Jimmy pulls him away. I mean, in some ways, this poor LA Knight just went blindfold into highway traffic, but I thought this guy navigated things as best he possibly could against a crowd that just did not want to be he's a babyface, but he is not this crowd's top babyface. And I mean, he was kind of in a tough spot here, but I thought his delivery overcame a lot because I did find him pretty entertaining in this segment.
Yeah. So again, if he is the one who might end up winning this tournament, I mean, he will have his work cut out for him if he's going to be opposing Roman Reigns.
That'd be a tough. Traveling crowd to Minnesota for LA Knight.
Yeah. So, but I thought the segment overall was really strong. First of all, I think Knight cut a fantastic promo. He had great energy in his delivery, great lines. Jimmy John Jade, Jacob Heimer Schmidt, great line. He's also putting a lot of attention to Adam Pearce specifically in his role in supporting the Bloodline. So that could ultimately be his like bigger destination, something involving Adam Pearce, not necessarily wrestling, but just a story involving Knight versus Adam Pearce somehow. But again, I thought though overall, like it felt organic. I thought it was interesting in just like creating some level of like believable hatred between Knight and Jay. So I'm enjoying LA Knight and what he's been doing so far.
I mean, this was also like 8 to 10 minutes of LA Knight go out there and you're going to talk about the potential of run-ins at matches that haven't happened yet. That's pretty much the focus of this. Like, he didn't really have some solid message that he had to deliver here. And Jay just came out and said, don't talk about my family. Okay, screw you. And they extended this for like 10 minutes.
It worked. I was interested. Yeah.
Gable, still ready to go if called upon, walks up to Ray and Dragon Lee. And they tell Gable to stop beating himself up. Ray says, you know, you did some pretty horrible things. But after seeing that mask versus mask match, that was true lucha libre. And I felt that. And Chad was like, actually, that was pretty much just like a WWE produced street fight with a super hot crowd. And it worked. So
Yeah,
thanks,
there's a
Ray.
mask at stake, though.
It did have a mask at stake. Ray accepts his apology, but then Ray reminds him, he said, you know, you also might want to think of some of the regrets you should have before you ever put that mask on. Because you're a real piece of shit, okay? Not just for the last year, but for a lot longer than that. And that left Chad with something to think about. Like, you little prick.
I laughed.
I came here to apologize, and you're like, you haven't even started to apologize for all the shitty actions you've committed.
I just laughed at the end of this because, like, at the end of Friday, he apologized to Phoenix, who told him to apologize to other people on Raw. Okay, so he does that. He apologizes to Penta.
Flew all the way to France for this apology.
Penta tells him to apologize to other people like Rey Mysterio. Now he finally apologizes to Rey, and Rey tells him to apologize to other people. So they're going to make Chad Gable apologize to every single person he has ever wronged in
He's
his
going to
life.
Arena Mexico Friday.
He's going to talk to like maybe the girlfriend that he dumped, or cheated on with like, another high school sweetheart. This man,
I mean, he should apologize to Andrea, right?
huh?
Kaiser's girlfriend, the ring announcer.
Oh,
Shouldn't they be on the apology tour?
I guess so. But I guess like, I mean, he anyway. I just thought it was hilarious. Every time he goes to somebody to apologize, he's just left with more homework, and he has to like do like apologize to 10 other people after this. So to me, it'll be enough for like, to justify a heel turn. Like, I'm saying, I should have never started this apologies.
Is Gable as a heel the best role for him?
No.
Coming off this,
Are you kidding me?
it's kind of like where I feel this is going. Like you,
What? You think he's gonna turn after all of this?
Gable?
Yeah.
That is the feeling I get from this.
Really?
Yeah.
He is, I mean, he spent like, first of all, a long time as a heel already. And this is like the type of organic love from an audience that I don't think you could just write. So
I hope I'm wrong. I hope
to
I'm
not
wrong.
take him all the way as like a star babyface coming off of that, I can't see.
Well, we go to Penta and Ray for the Intercontinental Championship. They shake hands at the beginning. Ray does the speedball spot where he springboards to avoid a diving Penta into an Asai moonsault to the floor. The crowd starts chanting Lucha Libre, and Corey Graves is just aghast. I mean, at this chant.
Corey has really like sort of taken ownership of this AAA role as commentator, as almost like an
Well, if he
ambassador.
doesn't, it's not going to be the guy to his left.
He's almost like feeling like a bit of an ambassador, certainly for like AAA, but maybe for Lucha Libre at large. At least when it comes to like main roster sort of like presence, right? And I think it's wonderful. Like I don't know how Lucha Libre fan necessarily feels about it, but you have like it feels like AAA has a voice, and therefore by extension, it kind of feels like Lucha Libre has a bit of a voice on the main roster constantly through Corey Graves.
So Ray does his slide to the floor into a sunset bomb. They went through multiple commercial breaks. Michael Cole's line of the night, he was speaking with Ray earlier about the surgeries and other developments to keep those knees in tip-top shape.
Mm-hmm.
Other developments.
I guess stem cell treatment would qualify as other. Yeah.
Penta hits a Penta driver, and Ray kicks out and then pops out of the corner into a poison Rana, and Ray just spikes himself right on the crown of the head coming down, and Cole and Graves are both freaked out because they're right there. They must have seen this like right as it landed because they freak at Ray, who just immediately pops up and hits a 619 like nothing happened. He was exceptionally lucky here because he came right down on his head.
I give a lot of credit for like somebody like Rey Mysterio for like trying, like I'm sure he's done this in the past, but he doesn't do it often. And so for him to like do a move like that to make this feel a bit more special than usual, I give him a lot of credit. But I never, ever, ever, ever need to see Rey Mysterio try a poison Rana again. It's just not worth the risk, you know. When this
was
could have
Mick
gone
Foley
really
writing
wrong.
this one down as a potential for a couple years down the road?
I don't know if there's a way to trick, people into like taking minimal damage while doing a move like this. I mean, he might be able to pull off a destroyer before he could pull off a poison Rana.
Well, after Ray nearly put himself out, he hits a 619, slingshot splash, Penta kicks out, then hits another 619, goes to the top, lands on the knees, and is hit with the Mexican destroyer as Penta retains in 13 minutes. And the two are showing their respect when Ethan Page and Rusev attack the two, and they get put down with Machka kicks. The accolade is placed onto Ray, so Dragon Lee runs down and makes a hell of a comeback here, sending both out of the ring, but then Page trips up Dragon Lee and throws him into the timekeeper's area, and Rusev comes in and he tears off Ray's mask, and this crowd is aghast, and there's tons of heat. Chad Gable runs down, he hits all these Germans, puts Ethan in the ankle lock, and then Rusev rescues Ethan, leaving the ring, and Lee and Penta cover up Ray's face with a towel as Gable gets the mask and hands it back to them. He has seen the error of his ways and now has helped Ray regain his mask.
First of all, a really hot match in front of a crowd that like really saw Ray versus Penta as like a big history-making type of thing. And I think like coming off of that like spotlight coming off of the Gable versus Kaiser match, it does feel like there's a real effort to push Lucha Libre as a whole on the main roster. And I find it very effective, you know, them translating whatever value they may have gained from that mass versus mass match onto the main roster. It's something that I didn't think that would really be possible, but they certainly have proven me wrong like in these 2 weeks. I think Corey Graves goes a long way in like being, you know, having a constant voice, be able to push that. But this closing angle I thought was fantastic. Again, all of this, you know, is in service of not just pushing Lucha Libre, but or AAA, but to push Chad Gable as a next top guy, or at least a guy who is in a better position than he was previously. And I thought they scripted a wonderful sort of like moment for him to continue to gain acceptance from the luchadors by helping the most beloved of the luchadors here.
After the attack,
but you think he's going heel, so
I mean, it would not surprise me if they ultimately had this guy turn on Ray. Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, isn't that what all of Ray's friends end up doing? They all turn on this poor guy.
Not in this case. It just doesn't. It feels like they'd be going backwards.
Well, I hope so. I hope so for Chad Gable's sake. There's a video with Raquel Rodriguez who previews her semifinal with Io Sky, says, "I've got your number. The last time we met, I beat you." And she's going to take the title from Io's BFF at SummerSlam. And then Io responds. She gets her own video treatment. She was entrusted with the women's division by Asuka. Asuka had the controlling shares of this women's division, and she diluted her shares and sold them off to Io Sky, who now has the majority control of this women's division.
Yeah.
I didn't know how this worked. I don't know what Asuka handed down to Io, but she inherited the division.
I mean, maybe Asuka felt some ownership of the in-ring quality of this division, maybe being the leader of that, and has passed it down to Io.
She says Raquel has no honor or heart. She will put Judgment Day in their place, and I'm going to become something you have never been, a world champion.
Yeah, I think they did a good job here of like sort of laying out the potential title matches that are at stake for the both of them. You have Raquel gunning for Rhea Ripley, and it makes perfect sense that she would be saying
an
this
old NXT rivalry.
Sure. Yeah. And it makes sense that she would say this to Io Sky, right? It also makes sense for Io to target Liv Morgan by beating Raquel. So both paths like make a lot of sense.
So we'll get this match next week, along with Oba and Dominic, as well as an appearance by Roman Reigns for next week's show, who is not featured on this Night of Champions poster. And it doesn't feel like Roman is going to be on the Saudi Arabia card, but I guess we will see what they do with him next week. I mean, could you imagine Roman Reigns just coming in for a nothing segment where he just does his entrance and says very little and then disappears? They wouldn't bring him all the way to Baltimore for that, would they?
Somehow, I don't know if the crowd would be that upset. Like it seems like a blessing to just even get a Roman appearance these days, right?
Liv is with Roxanne Perez, and Perez admits she was selfish last week, only thinking about herself, and that a win for one of us is a win for all. And she hopes it's Liv and Raquel in the final. Then we can't lose. And as soon as she says this, Liv just immediately diverts her attention to Dominic, like just brushes this off. Some nice subtleties here of what they are building, that Liv is all talk here about them being a team, but she is ultimately in this for herself.
Which leads you to think that either somehow Liv might influence the outcome of Io versus Raquel so that Raquel doesn't win, or we actually get Liv versus Raquel where maybe that could even be explored to a greater degree, you know?
Either option is fine. I could see them doing the former where it's Io ends up trying to help and screws Raquel by mistake and has some plausible deniability.
Liv tries to help, you mean?
Liv tries to help Raquel and it backfires. And then you could get Io and Liv at Night of Champions. That's one option. And you could have like Raquel maybe try the same thing. Like she tries to help Liv and screws up, and then they have that source of tension. And you could get to Liv and Raquel as a big match down the road.
And Roxanne's role in all of it is I guess maybe a little bit harder to predict too. Maybe she won't influence, the Queen of the Ring at all. But I mean, clearly they're still telling the breakup story. Now she doesn't have Finn Balor to attach to, right? Like they were doing I thought what was a pretty terrible segment of like Finn sticking around in the clubhouse and trying to influence her. Finn's on SmackDown now, so they're not doing any of that, right?
No. And we know the fortress that separates Raw from SmackDown. So she will never see Finn Balor again.
Yeah, ever. Mm-hmm.
Final match is the men's King of the Ring quarterfinal. Seth Rollins, Ricky Saints, Javon Evans, and Tala Tonga, the master of the Tala T-bomb.
Oh, your new favorite move?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
The workshopping that must have gone into that name. Javon tries an OG cutter immediately onto Tala, but Tala just gets out of the way, and it's all Tala dominating as they go to our first break. And we head to the floor. Rollins and Saints send Tala into the timekeeper's area, and then Evans leaps over the timekeeper's barricade into Tala, leaving Rollins and Saints to have a match by themselves for a couple of minutes. Evans returns with the red dot and then bounces off the rope and gets caught by Rollins and counters into a buckle bomb attempt. Saints hits that amazing-looking Revolution DDT. He hits this thing so smoothly every time. It looks excellent. Evans then leaps to the top, and he goes so fast into the corner that he slips and falls all the way down to the floor and has to get back up as Saints has to just stay there in position for a Spanish fly. And Evans hits it and bounces up into a pedigree from Rollins. Tala breaks that up. Cole, who is, I guess, not too used to calling Ricky Saints matches, probably just had a list of his moves written in front of him, he hit him with the Rochambeau. And Graves is like, that would be the Rochambeau. For now on, I am always referring it to the Rochambeau.
Man, does he just continue to expose himself for like not watching like everything?
I don't know. I think this guy, dude, he calls his Raw pay-per-view. F that. I'm off the clock, okay? I'm not watching this Lucha stuff. I'm not watching NXT, SmackDown. No way. The Rochambeau. Evans lands on his feet after this Tower of Doom spot, and we get our first Tala T-bomb delivered to Javon on the desk. But then it's Rollins stomping Tala on the desk and another coming off the desk. Saints avoids a stomp. The Revolution DDT gets blocked, and he hits the stomp. Rollins has the match won, but Austin Theory appears, grabbing the referee. And from there, Montez Ford attacks Austin Theory, and Braun Breaker appears in the ring. Rollins turns around and gets speared all the way back to America. And Saints crawls over for the cover, but is caught out of nowhere with an OG cutter, and it's Javon Evans pinning Ricky Saints in 15 minutes and 16 seconds. So Javon advances, and he'll face the winner of Friday's four-way.
I thought a fantastic match, whereas like the Queen of the Ring match on the show featured 4 established veterans. This one featured more of a showcase of like Rollins with 3 newcomers to the main roster, or relative newcomers in the case of like Tala Tonga. And I thought it did a great job of like highlighting certainly Evans, and I think Tala as well. Like Tala, I said on Friday, I thought like he is a pretty generic big man so far in his main roster run. And that was the case here as well, but I thought he was utilized really well. Big generic men, or generic big men shine really well in amongst like 4, lighter, high flying guys, and he looked good here. Saints, I think, is positioned more at this point as like a cowardly sort of low ranking heel, and even though that's not the type of position that I would envision him in, if upon call up, he still played a pretty pivotal role in the match, took the pin here. Evans, though, I thought looked like a star in a match like this. To me, he like very much stole the show in terms of like his spectacular offense. His interactions with Rollins in particular were, I think, outstanding, and it makes you really await that singles match so that you just, you hope would be on a bigger stage than just the Raw, for instance. And I thought the orchestration of like the final spots leading to like the run-ins was all like really well done. So again, a great way to give us that surprise Evans win while building 2 more Rollins vision forward, interactions in the future.
Yeah, what do you think we're getting? Do you see it being... Because at first I thought maybe they're just going to do another match with Rollins and Breaker, but I think it makes more sense that they're just going to do the tag title program for Saudi Arabia.
Tag title makes more sense. And I would imagine maybe this is all sort of like new planning ever since Logan got injured and you put Breaker in his place. By putting Breaker in Logan's place, it kind of opens the door for Rollins now to be in a tag team match.
Because you could have seen Rollins and Breaker saving that match from Raw, and that could have been Saudi Arabia, but they got that out of the way in service of this tag title program that does freshen things up. Like, I think Rollins and Ford would be great together for a little brief tag run together.
Seems to be the reason for the Dawkins injury, is to like have a Rollins Ford team. I could even see them winning the championship, and then I can see them facing off with the Usos, as was sort of teased earlier, in that.
You could do a short run with them, no problem. Who do you see coming out of this on SmackDown side to face Evans? We've got Jay, LA Knight, Keys, and Balor. We kind of talked about this earlier. What do you think is LA Knight?
So opposing Javon Evans would be one of the 4, right? Keys versus Evans, I think, would be an interesting match, just to have a big guy versus like a cruiserweight that would be compelling. But like all 4 being baby faces, kind of like in Jay's case, makes it a little bit harder to predict because Evans himself is a baby face. There's no real clear victor. I don't think it'll be Balor. Keys is possible. I don't really see him advancing. I still think LA Knight probably represents the best chance, But Jay is always a candidate too. So it could be anybody except Finn Balor, is what I'm saying.
Okay. And who's winning this tournament, Way?
Yeah. Could you do Obafemi versus... You can't do Obafemi versus Roman because of Brock at Minnesota.
I don't think it makes sense. I don't think they would have had Oba lose if he was going to challenge at SummerSlam.
So it's got to be Dominic Mysterio. No. I think it's LA Knight. It has to be LA Knight, right? Of the options here that are remaining.
I don't know. That seems very high for LA Knight for a SummerSlam.
Who else though amongst this field that's at play right now?
Yeah, again, like if you're telling me on Raw who is the babyface that is most primed for a big match, it's Rollins by a significant portion, I think.
He's out though. Could it be Dom versus Roman at SummerSlam?
No.
Yeah, it's hard to see. Again, of the options, I don't think Femi, because Femi's, going to do something with Lesnar at SummerSlam. I think that leaves LA Knight, doesn't it?
Do you think there's any chance they do something where this is like the winner of this somehow either gets a title shot or it's some kind of misdirect where we get a fresh opponent for SummerSlam?
Yes, they could do that. Yeah, they could do that.
Because a lot of these don't add up to me.
It just feels like a bit of a cop out, don't you think?
Well, they do that at times.
We'll see. We'll see. Maybe hard to predict for these reasons. Yeah.
Yeah. The main event to me was the match of the show, but a really great crowd, some strong segments. I thought the Obafemi segment was excellent as well.
Yeah, true.
I did enjoy LA Knight and Jey Uso together. I thought the crowd really made that one, and I thought LA Knight was entertaining in that segment. Penta and Ray, you had the involvement of Gable at the end. It was a good match, enhanced by a really great crowd. It was a better outing for Sol Ruca, as you had mentioned, than we've seen for some time. Like, this was a pretty easy Raw watch.
I enjoyed all the Gable stuff. Like, again, they've really impressed me in the way they've been able to translate the value he gained off of that Mass versus Mass match into something that feels very meaningful for his current push on the main roster. So I thought this was a good show, especially highlighted by this incredible crowd. I thought everything came across really, really well on the show.
And now Baltimore has to top this crowd next week.
You hear that, Jordan Goodman? All right.
Show up. Tuesday night is NXT. They have announced Tatum Paxley against Zarya for the Women's North American title. Kalani Jordan against Kendall Gray in a number one contenders match. That should be very good. And Naraku versus Mason Rook in another number one contenders match. Wednesday night, it is the Summer Blockbuster, which the TBS schedule is now listing this as a 3-hour block on Wednesday night.
You know what? We're used to it now, aren't we?
We have Swerve Strickland against Brody King in the Owen semifinal. Saray versus Sky Blue in the quarterfinal. John Moxley against Shane Taylor for the Continental title. Great breakdown of Shane Taylor promotions by Kate and Wai on Saturday night, and Shane Taylor's potential of winning this. Mark Briscoe against Pac, and Orange Cassidy against Andrade. More matches, I am sure, to come between now and Wednesday night.
Oh, that's not that. You need more than that for 3 hours on AEW.
Yeah, this is probably poor. This.
I'm sure it'll be really
minutes.
good. It's just I do hope they give us something substantial towards the third hour, because that's usually the problematic hour, right?
This is also going against Game 4, which, depending on they're in the fourth quarter right now. You could have like the Knicks on the verge of winning the championship against this show on Wednesday night. So It is. Game 1 had like 16 million viewers. I don't know what Game 2 had, but like this is a monster series as well. And if the Knicks win tonight and they have the chance to win the entire thing and sweep San Antonio, that's going to be a giant game on Wednesday.
Yeah. Well, even if they don't, it's going to take.
It's still, you're right. Even if San Antonio wins tonight, it's still Game 4 and it's in New York. It's going to be a huge audience regardless of, but it'll be that much bigger if they're have the chance to win. So that's what they're contending with on Wednesday. And then Collision on Saturday, it's a 2.5 hour window. They weren't going to squeeze the whole 3 hours out of that.
It's very unusual. I mean, there's no countdown.
Sounds like they're just asked to do more hours, and they're not going to turn down any.
So
requests.
The fact that we're getting a 3-hour Dynamite plus a 2.5 hour Collision suggests that chunk will be taken out of a future edition of the show.
Are we going to get a 90-minute Collision down the road?
No idea. I hope it takes place at a golf course or a bowling alley or a trampoline park or something. Just make it something interesting,
We're going to sign off here on the YouTube channel. But again, we are back later on this week. We will have Rewind Dynamite on Wednesday night. So special start time right after 11 p.m. when the show concludes. Thursday is the Ask Away Mailbag Show, where we put all the power in your hands. You dictate what we're going to talk about based on your questions, which can be submitted from now until Thursday morning at forum.postwrestling.com. A big thank you to everybody.
For all patrons.
For all patrons that can submit questions. Forum.postwrestling.com. And we thank all of you that participated in Open House Week. If you enjoyed the open house, consider becoming a permanent resident at postwrestlingcafe.com. You can get all our Freedom 250 thoughts next Monday. We're gonna quiz Wai on Monday night, see what he saw of the White House card. I think you're gonna be glued. Wait till Wai learns about Josh Hokett.
Yeah, I feel like I might be interested in everything but the fights themselves. That's what I'll be listening to you and Neil.
Well, in between fights, they're going to be telling stories of America's history, which I cannot wait for Professor Dana White to tell us about American history through his eyes.
Amazing. Okay.
Then these fuckers wouldn't leave our land.
That would be something. Yes. Did you purchase your copy of Time Magazine? this month?
No, I did not. You know, it's like the whole article is just online, like by Time. They post the whole thing up there. What incentive would I have to buy the magazine? But maybe
I mean,
that's why.
this really cool cover featuring Dana White, of course.
Vanessa, it has been too many years since
Was
New
that
York.
that must have been the idea, right?
It had to have been.
Yeah.
This was way too. There was no way. I'm sure Dana had no idea what he was doing. It's like, you just look like Dana, and we have our own artistic direction.
It's a cool photo, I have to say.
It's pretty menacing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Kingpin.
Anyway.
Okay, everyone. Goodbye on YouTube. We're going to continue with your feedback.